Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Let's get into it. Sorry for being a little bit later than usual, but again, well, life. As you can see, we're having a bit of a mixed day, more negative than positive. We can kind of see it right away. Some of the tech sector is more on the lower end of the negative side of the spectrum of things. If we're looking at less than 1% down, most of the things. But on the other hand, we have, for example, Oracle here with being down almost 8%, Nvidia almost 3%, Avgo 4.5%. Just kind of the things that stand out. AMD 242. Google is actually up today almost 5%. I've seen speculation in our community today based upon thinking that Google is going to fry AMD, and this is sort of the correlation of things. Tesla is on the up and up, 3.42%, so doing quite well. So yeah, a bit of a mixed day, I would say, but let's see at what the markets are truly saying before we make any assumptions. So first things first, right away we can say we are it's all said and done with this gap. It is over with, at least in terms of needing to close it. So we still might respect the support resistances that were generated based upon that gap, but still it means that we're probably done with it for the time being. We can continue. The price action seems to be a little bit more bearish than anything, right? So I almost forgot, by the way, to acknowledge all of you guys and shout outs and all that cool stuff. Almost forgot. My apologies. I'll get back to that in a second. Actually, I'll probably do that before we actually get started with everything. Let's say hello to Leo, Blackberry, Christoph, Chris, Mike, and Olimu. Hello, all of you boys and girls. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful live today. Let's see how Palantir, by the way, is doing, since I've been saying it's still hackers caught red-handed. That is one hell of a cool nickname. Hey, Casey, good to see you here, brother. Appreciate you showing up. Thomas, thank you as well. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening as much as I am having one. So, yeah, let's get over and look at things here. What I need to update now. I see. Should I do it now? Should I not do it now? And what's going on? What are we doing? So let's see. Palantir is actually on the downslope, at least for today, changing a bit trajectory. It starts to put a bit of a dent in our expectation towards the end of the year. Does that change it altogether? Now, as you can see on the 30 minutes, we're still retaining 30-minute channel very neatly here on Palantir, and very probably going to continue. Let's see if we have what it takes. Let's see if we have the necessary momentum here being generated. Right now, at face value, we're bearish, but we are starting to see some turnaround right here, which will potentially show that we have what it takes to actually retain the channel for a longer duration. Let's see if we have what it takes on larger time frames. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for that entanglement between the forces, right? The forces are so it appears to be that we're having entanglement, and basically the forces are going again towards a convergence, divergence subsequently. And if I'm right, that appears to be that we might be squeezing to the upside, even if temporarily. So let's see what we have here. More bearish momentum. Really, it starts to be a little bit more scary than people would like it to be. A little bit of sketchiness on the weekly, but let's see. Again, we do know we have some other time frames that are on the smaller and shorter end, but basically are still bullish. We have the S&P still showing bullishness. So does that mean the end of it all? Well, it could be the beginning of the end, but honestly, I would argue that the market doesn't do such movements without actually making them worth something. In the time being, what we're seeing is just a mere pullback, nothing all that crazy. I wouldn't say that with all due respect, this is nothing but a pullback based upon the channels. So it's kind of normal, right? Exactly what we expect to see within the context of things. But let's look at the S&P again. We want to determine what the S&P is telling us about the grand scheme of the market. So 1 minute is not really interesting. 5 minutes we've been bearish, and it appears to be that we've finalized this wedge, or at least we're finalizing it, coming to an end, I would argue, based upon how it appears to look. So I would argue this will end shortly and we'll start correcting to the upside. Correcting to the upside, the question is whether we'll be able to penetrate that 50 area. If we will actually see another pickup of momentum, potentially bringing us, at least based upon what right now could look like 6,090 easily, right? Retesting previous area, well, supports and resistances that we've generated within the vicinity here, and subsequently also closing this gap. So that is very much a possibility based upon how the 5 minutes starting to look like. So this is rather short term. We're probably talking about the following sessions. So don't be all that surprised that if within the following sessions, maybe 1 or 2 sessions away, we will start actually seeing the momentum pick back up right into that channel, then probably retesting that median around 6,078, maybe 6,080, and then continuing to close the gap, as we said, potentially the channel, testing these supports and resistances that we can see right here. And then maybe we're going to see another movement to the downside, but for now, let's just assess it what we can see in the shorter term. So in the shorter term, actually, for 45, I mean, I wouldn't look at 45-minute structure. It's a structure that very few people look at and actually use it just to find a good middle ground between the 30 minutes and the 1 hour, and to find kind of a balance and to see what the true story of the market is, rather than to actually give it any credence in the sense of what it's dictating in terms of the channel. I already see you boys and girls are going bananas with the tickers. Sure. We're going to do the tickers as we always do. Just give me a second. Chris, where were you? We had a decent hangout for the last several days. I'm dying for people to join in and ask cool questions. Where are you? Where are you with the cool questions, Chris? Both Chris's, actually. Yeah, I know. I'm just being an ass. I know. I'm so sorry. I realize you guys don't just, don't want to show up or something. You guys are all busy. I tremendously appreciate your time joining the lives. Anyways, I'm boring Greg to death. That is so not true, Leo. You and I have a cool hangout whenever we talk. It's just that, it will be cool if we're going to have more people, more questions. I absolutely love hanging out with you, Leo. That is not true. You know that. You are not boring me to death, sir. In fact, our discussions are tremendously interesting, always, even if we talk about my mundane, daily stuff. So the daily is actually something we want to look at, because we have somewhat of a mixed sort of scenario right here. If we're looking at this at face value, right, what we're having right now, that can bring us easily to here, to 6,000, right? Which we know we have a rather strong psychological support over there. Right now, we've basically been rejected off of the median. That's what it appears to be, and we're moving lower. So yes, temporarily based upon this, given the fact that in the 4 hours, which is basically almost the equivalent of looking at the 1 daily, just with seeing the candlesticks that are in betweens, so to speak, the SPX, we just don't see the pre and post market. So to be really objective about this, since this is at face value negative, and since we already broke the median, right, at least the shorter range one, right, we have 2 of them. We have actually a longer duration median and a shorter duration median. Now, which refusing to appear right now. Here it is. Thank you. So right now we are working our way downwards to what arguably could be the junction between these 2 forces. Right now we've been rejected from this shorter term median. You can see the yellow and the red, and the longer duration, the slower moving average basically, is the green and the red. So as you can see, it's been sort of sustained and maintained for far longer, right? You can see that green channel, green and red channel, it's been on, honestly since a very, 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 very long time. Okay, just to be honest with you, I'm not going to say exactly the period, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, just wanted to point that out for how long this channel have been maintained. So why should we think it's going to be broken? There's no valid reason, at least for the time being, before we get to the lower limit of it. This is the way we actually usually move about. We don't stay within the channel forever, but more often so we don't see the channel move to the upside. Okay, so based upon this, we're moving probably to the 6,000 area as a first step. Then, if the market will maintain that bearish momentum, looking potentially at how we're sliding out of overbought territory into the body of the stochastic RSI, and the forces are clearly diverging, amplifying the bearish momentum, we can potentially see what could be representative of a movement to the downside, right? A significant pullback. How significant can that pullback be? Based upon the current supports and resistances, we can argue that the lower end would be probably 5,900, given that it's a strong psychological area, given that we have a row of supports to break on our way to the downside. These slow down the momentum, in essence. They end up slowing down the process. We have that bottom channel of the shorter range on the daily, right? 100-day average, basically. This is how this channel is generated, from 100-day average. And we are potentially going to be retesting it before we go lower. Before we go lower, the way we know we end up testing these sort of scenarios, these sort of structures, is by moving into this so-called wedge potentially, and then the question becomes whether we slide lower or we'll retest high again. So in my assessment, based upon how the market appears to look right now, because this convergence starting to be, well, last week, if you remember, we had this structure a little bit more open, right? So we had the forces basically diverging, showing potentially the continuation of that bullish momentum into overbought territory, allowing it to retain and maybe even amplify that momentum, giving it enough force to move towards the end of the year towards 62.5100, and potentially bringing Palantir with it and the rest of the assets, or at least giving ground for these things to happen. By the way, you have to be attentive, and this is kind of amazing, I gotta say, considering how negative the momentum today was and how well Palantir was doing in relative terms. It is a hint that the market is not yet ready to sell off. If the market would have been ready to sell off, you would have been seeing a lot more bearish momentum on the individual assets, while if you're objective, some of those risk-on assets that people would oftentimes like to avoid are going and functioning as usual, you know. So I would argue that since people are not necessarily rushing out of the market this very second, I would argue that, yeah, we still have enough momentum. By the way, exactly what we spoke about plug, as you can see, again, we have enough momentum in the system towards the up and down. And I am a moron, and I forgot, you probably reminded me, and I am a stupid moron. I am a stupid moron. Here it is, boys and girls. I removed it. I am so sorry. I am so sorry for being so stupid. Forgot the banner on the top of the page. My God, freaking moron. But yeah, sign up, Patreon, join us on Discord. Damn it. Crazy, stupid moron. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of these assets that are enjoying a bit of a rally are starting to correct. And so we have enough bullish momentum in the system, realistically speaking, to potentially complete that before the end of the year. Does that mean it's certain? No, it is not certain. This is why we follow these things up on a daily basis. For example, just based upon this, you need to realize just by the process of moving downwards, right, towards the body, we still have enough bullish momentum by being within the confines of overbought territory to actually retain enough of that bullish momentum to close maybe that potential price point that we've mentioned, and actually give the rest of the assets that bullish momentum that they need to actually will finalize these highs. When these highs will be finalized, then we can actually see and think about a correction. Right now, everybody are very, very fearful because of that very swift reaction of the market. But I'll remind you that the market does these things on a daily basis. It's just that everybody now are sitting on such amounts of profit that it feels very, very scary. Every sort of nudge in the wrong direction now feels very scary. Otherwise, nothing really changed. We're experiencing the same exact momentum, the same exact trend, the same exact channel, if you will, that we've been retaining for a long time. So yeah, supports and resistances, that's all. All right, let's go to the chat now that we are up to speed. Glad to be here, Blackberry. I am glad you guys and girls are here sharing this time with me on the evenings, talking about the market. I absolutely love that. As you can hear, I've been not really feeling all well in the last couple of weeks. Tired, all sorts of things. Today, for example, we had a contractor come by early in the morning when normally I am asleep. And so even more tired on top of it. I was a little bit sick earlier, but yeah, this is my fun, and so I appreciate you guys joining me on a daily basis here. I tremendously appreciate the people who hang out with us on Discord. I understand most of us are really busy and have work and cannot join us, but well, it is what it is. All right, so let's see. Let's go over the chat. Hi, Greg. Hi, all. But you said big rally QQ. No, Christoph. I said that there could be a potential rally, and we might be seeing again. Well, we're following the technical analysis, as you know. I know you're joking, but it's a legitimate sort of something to say. I absolutely treat this very seriously, and so yeah, it's a legitimate thing. Should make a meme out of that? Yeah, absolutely. SBSW. Okay, let's look at SBSW. Let's see what we can see right there. SBSW. That's we done Archer yesterday. SBSW. Okay. Okay, SBSW appears to be a lot more bullish than bearish. At face value, appears to be a lot more bullish than bearish. Let's see what's going on right here. A lot more bullish than bearish. That is interesting. What else? What else do we have? What else do we have? A lot more bullish than bearish. That is for sure, as we said. Let's look at this from a logarithmic point of view. I want to see what sort of cycle I would measure. I would absolutely measure this cycle. All right. So this. Let's see. You are currently sitting on support. Wait for 642. That appears to be the case, right? Again, you do you. This is not financial advice. It's just my own personal opinion. I can try and locate this for whatever it is. It's obviously that one. It's, that's going to be easy. Come on. I see you. There you go. There we have you. Alrighty, perfect. So that's your intermediary support that you have right here. Let me bring things back to normal perspective, adjusted, if you will. And okay, so 642, absolutely. You are currently, I would argue, doing this channel by slippage. What we're seeing, this is a slippage of that 418. Read it. Whoa, you are literally on it, like perfect. Your momentum implies that it's far more negative than positive in the shorter term, which means you might be sliding in and out throughout this range in all sorts of not cool ways. But I would argue that the market is far more indicative in the medium term of things, that you're far more positive than negative. In other words, 642 and probably some slippage above it. Do you have enough momentum to make it to that 915 or to even your channel? That's a good question. Let's see. Are you market related? Are you market related? Are you market related? You tell me. You're probably market related to some extent, I would argue. And so you see, if the market goes to shit, you go to shit with it. In other words, you will be retaining that channel, probably, potentially, maybe even moving down into that 202, and only then having that, which will mean quite a ways out. I mean, yeah, no data, no wonder. Yeah, quite a ways out. So, mm, I mean, you do you, right? If I would be a true believer in the asset and I would think it had potential and try to swing the thing, I wouldn't mind. But then again, look, if you're buying at 418 and then you watch yourself drop to around the twos, you're basically looking at 50% drop. Are you able to withstand that? If that is something you can do, sure, no problem. Um, mm, 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 mm. Let's see, let's see. Okay, what else do we have? Well, that's what we have. That's what we have, Chris. It's I do like assets that are correlated to tangible, well, actual resources, right? Raw materials are usually good companies to stick by because they do well at all times because, well, we do need the raw materials. They are more of a safer sort of place to stick by, but these sort of assets really are the ones you need to learn how to not overstay your welcome, if you will. That is very necessary. um no, 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 we've gone through that bit. You said you're not. Okay. Enjoying chatting to Leo last week. Absolutely, absolutely. My first time on your live, enjoying up to now. Hackers, that's thank you to hear that. I appreciate you joining and liking what they're what I'm showing. Again, this is not financial advice. It's just another point of view of some crazy random dude person on the internet that might have worked for the industry for quite a while and kind of sort of knows what he's talking about. But then again, it's not a reason to listen to me. I've seen a lot of morons in the industry that happens as well. So, I could be one of them. In fact, I can argue I am one of them. Just a bit of a different one, a more professional moron. uh, Greg missed the joke and my message. I might have uh, I'm not sure. I might have. I might have, Christoph. I'm so sorry. But, I'm so sorry. I might have. I might have. You might need to explain. That's why you need to join the hangouts a little bit more often. Okay, let's do OKTA. OKTA. Let's see what we can see here. That really leaves me with no choice, so I would obviously do this, and that's gonna be, I think, 2152, or what is my other option? Yeah, I'll go with 2152. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, on the lower end of things, so yeah. Uh, 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 um. So this appears to be the very next move, potentially this. Not straightforward, as we can tell. Gaps. Okay, cool, cool beans, cool. Okay. So you're definitely still gonna retest that. You're definitely aiming to close this. That is for sure. giving you 95-ish area, right? Let's just call that 100. Here it is. It's not so surprising that we have that behavior right here, right here. It's not all that surprising. Let's just give it 100, right? So we'll do it like that. Bam. Boys and girls, let's look at that beautiful thing. You see that psychological right there? Yep, 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 yep. Perfect, perfect. Right. So the following chain of events for this gonna look more like a little bit down, up, down, up, down, and probably closing, and then we're gonna be smarter to tell you what really it's planning to do. But for the shorter range, you are maybe completing a little bit more downwards price action in the form of this, maybe a day or two, finalizing your shorter term channel and potentially doing something akin to this, as we said, finalizing this gap, and then we will be smarter to look at whether it's going to do something about that 100. The question is, again, are you market related? The thing with you is that you are, like the rest of them, market related, and so if everything goes to shit, this goes to shit with it. Yeah, just saying. Although, again, at face value, more positive than negative. That is at face value. Let's see. You butchered the joke, Greg. You know that's what I do, Christoph. Come on. It's like, I'm a moron. Plus, I'm afraid I'm going to say something that YouTube is going to screw with me. And so I'm very cautious with how I read things out. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, mm, 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 mm. Uber. Who wanted Uber? Christoph wanted Uber. Christoph, let's do Uber. Christoph, would be nice. Uber would be nice. Let's do Uber. Uber is not all that bad as it appears to be. It's already squeezing that bearish momentum. Has a little bit more to go, sadly. Sorry. At least, I mean, on this point of view, it actually looks horrible. But we'll see how this plays out because Uber is a bit of a different niche. It's taxi service basically. So, um, and it's not bad all in all. I mean, it has its positives and negatives, but let's be honest, we have them in everything. So more so positives, I would argue. Lots of gaps on the lower end of it, which I don't like to see, that sort of thing. And I would argue that in the long run, they will get closed, or at least three of these major ones. This maybe will be left over at the end of it all, but these three major ones will get closed. I'm fairly certain of it, which means this will follow the rest of the market, so it appears. But for now, it has more upwards momentum, which I'm not surprised. I think it wants to do this, and then it will be free to go. But that's it. That appears to be that you have enough momentum to maybe keep on holding on for, dear life within maybe this channel, or it's probably more a narrow lower channel that appears to look wedgy. Yeah, here it is, just because of the head and shoulders. So yeah, because you had some abnormalities, if you will, if you want to call them such, so quite normal, really. But they made the whole thing structure look a little bit more wedge-like than it should have been. High highs, low lows. Not big surprise. Still retaining a very narrow sort of structure. So even if you're gonna test these, get prepared for a deeper correction on Uber. Uber. Yeah. I'm Arnold. And I like Uber. Let's look at this horrible thing. I mean, I don't have to say, we know this is going to happen via testing the channels. So junction, so yeah, that's that thing I'm trying to draw. Yes, that. Thank you. Oh, that will be a thing. And so that will be a thing. That will be a thing. That will all be a thing. Mm-mm-mm-mm. That will all be a thing. But that's definitely going to be a thing. So right now, although you're above this median, you're still testing it. I would argue, and the question is whether we have enough momentum to penetrate and continue to the upside towards 200, or more so for far more likely that what that is appearing to be right now, the 160 area, subsequently 150, because I would argue that it appears to be having this temporary rally, if you will, and it will eventually subside and will come down to an end relatively shortly, which will bring us lower, which will bring us to that 150 appears to be, at least as a first step. So Google, with everything, will be going down. It's just that Google will be holding up fairly well because it's Google. Unless they will continue with that bullshit they're having recently. Their search engine is just complete and utter trash in the last, well, 3 4 years ish, and it's slowly becoming trashier and trashier. So Johnny, we have a bit of a problem with Google, but it's Google. I mean, as long as they're not going to have issues with, regulation because of monopolistic practices and things of that nature, otherwise they're fine, safe and nice and dandy. Of course, they're up and down. That's a normal thing, normal procedure. Relating to the one meme saying, but you said big rally. No, I said, okay, yeah. Why? Then I did get it. I just didn't butcher it because I don't know exactly how to make the sound. Uh, Thank you. My pleasure, Mike. Thank you for being here. Christoph meets with my analysis. The drops news with Waymo got me here. Wait, what Waymo? What news do we have about Waymo? I hate it when I get when I get a wedgie. Yep, it's wedgie. It's honestly most wedges are pennant flags. Basically, a formation in which the price action does not get caught between two parallel horizontal, sorry, supports and resistances as such. What you get in a wedge is either this, as we're familiar with, or maybe this, more centered, or maybe even this. All of the above are possible, all of them are wedges, and all of them most likely are a bull flag of sorts. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether we get locked in this way, it's bullish, whether we locked in this way, it's bullish, whether we locked in this way, it's bullish. The real question is whether the bigger formation of things is as such to say that yes, we actually have another bullish wave subsequent to this flag formation, or are we finally coming to a correction? There are hints within the flags themselves sometimes to show whether we're moving one way or another, or what you have to really do is again zoom out, see the bigger picture, and realize whether the bigger picture is implying that we might be breaking down. And so this is basically the final channel within we end up testing particular repetitive supports and resistances, and so it appears to be a bullish flag, and in reality it's just a second away from breaking. So bullish flag is not always indicative of a bullish trend. Just saying. I mean, no, just so yeah. I mean, I understand it's just having fun and all that, but sure, absolutely, wedges do happen and occur quite often. It's something we need to be attentive to. 70-ish retaining was my case here. So okay, absolutely. So if you're aiming for 17, then no problem, then you got it. More probable than not. Okay, gotcha. Short term, right? You wouldn't want to overstay your welcome on that one. Absolutely. Recent big drop some days ago was because Waymo said they gonna expand to Florida or something, which shook up my technical analysis thesis. Okay, I see. And 65 is my sort of support. It's a bit low. You have an increment of $5 there. It's very narrow, but okay. I mean, as long as you follow it up on a daily basis, that's a good play potentially. Some days now, yeah. Hackers Code. What do you think about AMD? Let's do AMD. Let's do AMD. Good question. Good question. Good question. Let's do AMD. I think you can see what I think about AMD. I think what we ended up doing here is rather clear, that we ended up testing the lower end of the channel prior to going higher, right? So we were not able to squeeze anything out, continue to the bottom. Cool beans. We're still sliding around that area. Given this, we're still not doing good. Given this, we are still not doing good, so not good. That's your overall not good thesis. You know, it's the thesis says not good. Simple, right? Not good. This is very not good. This is like very not good. And this is also very not good. So what happened here is that the market recognized what is up to come and inevitably started plummeting, faster than expected. And basically, since it was already sort of foreseen to take place, the market basically didn't take the risk nor the, I guess, attempt to even try and time this. Instead of, they just sold out, and yeah, now you're on the lower end of the channel. Actually, not all that bad, because that means you are going to be testing this wedge probably a little bit, that negative wedge that you formed, sorry, like that, and closing some gaps, which is very, very possible about this one. This one is up for speculation for right now, because I would argue you don't really have enough momentum to go that high, but you have enough momentum to go that high easily, right? So that will get closed. That is under question right now. Still, again, we'll see how it behaves when it goes overbought. But on the grand scheme of things, you're more bearish than bullish. In other words, it appears to be that the market is seeing what is to come, right? And so there is a massive exit out of AMD. I would argue that we can be smarter once we reach this shorter term range, the 108, maybe the 100 area, maybe will be easier to probably do that, like this, like that, and like so. And so when we meet that 100 support, it'll be easier to discern whether we're actually going to break these channels to the lower end, or are these 100, or is this $100 area support will be retained. So first of all, let's see you make it to 100, right? Post the up, down, down to the 100, and then when you're at 100, let's see what the technical analysis will be showing, because as we said, you still have enough momentum to move to the upside, closing some of these gaps, maybe even making it to the bottom of this and doing something akin to this, right? But this is going to be very excessive based upon how the channels are structured right now. I would be very much surprised, like so. But yeah, you still have a little bit more bullish to take you roughly about 150, 149, 140 maybe, but subsequently eventually breaking to roughly around the area of 100. That is kind of the gist of AMD. Let's see. Him, the advanced mothers and daddies. Yeah, yep, yep. What do you think about AMD? That, so I didn't miss anything. What are the charts say about MO? Okay, John, let's look at Mo. That is something I have not gotten here in a while. That's gonna be fun to look at. Let's see. Give me that. No, I mean, since we are moving within it, since I want. Oh, stop it. That is very. Give me a second. Give me a sec. Whoa. I mean, that is gonna be very, very. What is that? What year is this? Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. That is absolutely, absolutely what I need to do is this. Then I need to do that. Then I need to do this. Then we need to look at this objectively. I need to oil this thing. It's creaking. Squeaking, squeaking. Objectively speaking, you more likely than not looking at 64 in the junction of the median, which is this wedge potentially as such, right? There is a bit of a problem though. It is market related, and in other words, yes, if everything goes to, you know, poop, you're going to poop with it. But this actually, with the structure that it's having, for how long it's been on oversold territory, everything is by the book. This, if I wouldn't sort of had to if I would have not had to consider what the market is showing on the grand scheme of things, this is so bullish. It can easily reach the top of the channel right here. I would argue 70, right? Because 6 months, this is with every candlestick. It doesn't even take more than a single candlestick. Literally, this can be done within the span of 6 months, if you will, within a single candlestick from where we are right now to here, right? That's pretty easy. The problem with it, just like the rest, is that it's market related, and so if the market goes to shit, you go to shit with it. That's the only problem you have with this. This is actually very positive. This is very, very nice. I mean, sure, nothing is just straightforward, right? But again, a couple of weeks of negative momentum to retest certain supports and resistances here, sure, that's normal. I mean, I would argue that this is normal. I would argue that this is completely normal. So yeah, this is maybe closing some gaps that you maybe some gaps left over low on the lower end. That's maybe what it wants. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So that what gives you best sort of lowest case scenario, what, 51, 50 kind of area? I mean, you're good. You're probably sitting here on 50. 50 is, given the price range, 50 would be tremendous support resistance for you. So, and here it is. Ta-da! Magic, you see? Psychological levels really matter, boys and girls. They really do matter. And so, yeah, I would argue that the worst case scenario, you're testing back to 50 in order to make it all the way to like 64.23. So, not a bad trade-off, I would say. I mean, depends on how long will you be testing that area that you have between 55.67 and 53. 58, which is a golden pocket and inevitably a very strong well, range. So, right. Modi, advanced money destroyers. Absolutely, now that one. Hackers, now that. Shout out to hackers for the. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Advanced money destroyers. I like it for the dividends, but it seems to be moving up. All right, gotcha. I mean, yeah, look, dividend assets are also, it's not just them buy them and enjoy the dividends. Why not watch the why not buy it at the bottom and so enjoy the price appreciate as well, and so have that ROI on multiple fronts. It's so much better. That's the right way. I mean, during the hard days, I used to say, guys, consider dividend stocks. They will do nicely for you, especially over time. Or over time, I don't have to say, but over time, it feels more and more and more pleasant, and so you're like better and better and better and more okay with it. So yeah, absolutely. This, PayPal. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hackers, that's a good one. Yeah, absolutely. Right. GamePal. Yeah, also, I mean, yeah. And any short-term opportunities you're excited about? If yes, explain and show. Thanks, Greg. You're awesome. No, you guys are awesome. I'm just a dude on the internet that enjoys talking about very weird things. It's not, some people like talking about pop culture or TV, movies, games, whatever, whatever that floats your boats kind of deal. I like the market. I like talking about things that I deal with on a daily basis, which is this. And so you guys are awesome. Honestly, sadly, I'm not seeing a lot of good short term opportunities other than potentially Palantir, like I said, actually having a still potential rally to the 100, maybe some Affirm. Retesting maybe 72, maybe even if it's gonna be doing well, that 75, which is phenomenal levels still, all in all. Uh, Tesla, not the good deal at all. At 400, no. I would be selling my tits off at 400. Uh, what else? What else? Oracle, given the fact that it's on the lower end of the channel, it has a couple of nice dollars to squeeze out. Give it some time to test, but I would argue that you can still squeeze out maybe all the way to 198. Not a bad deal. What cool else is cool? Plug, not a good deal. But then again, if you're buying for the longer run, it doesn't matter. It's a good deal still. Nvidia, not a good deal at all. Bad deal, in fact. I would be out and just waiting for it to drop to see how it drops to 90, confirm that, retest. Then when it starts breaking down lower, only then slowly be more attentive to it. I I am my thesis still stands as was. I don't believe we're gonna see anything prior to $60 that is actually viable to start DCAing into this. So I'm sorry to say we're like 50%. Yes, 50%. Yes, 50%, 50 something percent. Yes, doesn't matter. Call it 60. Does not matter. If you do 30% 1 year, correct 15, break down 40 more, you're good. You see? That's it doesn't have to all happen in a single year, especially for the recessionary period. Those who understand and watch the other lives and the videos that I've made, and we spoke about this before. These processes take a long time, and if it will take merely 2 years, you're done. You're good enough. What's up, Black Mamba? Good to have you. Good to have you here, brother. Good to have you. We are doing good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Will Google cook Intel? I don't know if you've been here earlier. We just looked at both of them. We looked at Google on the technical side of things. We looked at AMD on the side of things. We haven't looked at Intel. You know what? My apologies. We did not look at Intel. So to have that equation summed up, we need to look at Intel. Intel is actually scraping the bottom for quite some time. That doesn't mean, as you can see, it cannot go any lower. Right now, we're actually sitting on that very bottom that we're talking about. You know what? Let's do Intel. Why not? I'm so not against doing Intel. Intel is a longer duration channel, and it's freaking horrible, and I hate it. Have I said it? Did I ever say how much I hate Intel's channel? I really do. I really hate Intel's channel. So Intel's channel is really offset and broken to all hell. that would be... Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You are, my God, you're horrible. Right. So the right way I should be going about this, although the larger channel probably matters still, which it does, but you're gonna have two fibs here. You're gonna have one that's gonna be reversed. So as this way, and one that will be proper. Okay, yeah, and we need the very top. That's gonna be annoying to all hell. We need the very top and this bottom right here. Okay, I did not get it right. Although I did get it right, but you wouldn't know that I got it wrong. So, yeah, okay. Now we need to go like that, and yeah, it's ugly, I know, but that's what you get when, yeah. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and you get a chart like this. Although it's because they're just old school, they're very traditional. They end up behaving in this very traditional, stupid way. So here is your bottom still will be that 1207. You have another support resistance that resides roughly around 16. Let's call it 15 based upon the structure. I would argue that it probably resides around 1615. So maybe probably just kind of I'm going to nominate, fuck my life. Like that. Now, another one like so. I need to be running away soon, boys and girls. I have a student session, so need to be running away. I already am late, but that's okay. We're gonna finalize this first. So you're probably gonna have something like this, and here it is, magic, right? You see, I'm the magician. The technical magician, right? You see them both now. You see how I was able to tell you that it's certain that these levels exist there and care for? Yeah. Well, really it stems from various reasons. But, so you have these. Now, considering where we're at right now, given the price action, so you're having this wonderful thing. 1815. 1615, right? When I say 1615, I don't mean 16.15. I mean 16 to 15. So the entire range in between. The entire rage against the machine. Now, so that channel a bunch of supports and resistances. On the other hand, upside, so thus this one, subsequently potentially this one if you're really bullish, right? Which is not the case on the weekly, but is the case on the monthly. So not all that surprising. Intel actually, because it's been squeezing to death, is starting to appear as if it's more than ready to go higher. So it's not necessarily yet 100% ready, but I would argue that within the time span of a year, we might see Nvidia bottom out and start picking back up. So give it a year and we might actually see Intel having a decent time right there. Okay, so what's up? What up? What up? Yep. I'm sorry, boys and girls. First of all, hackers, we've already done SoFi. No, we have not done SoFi. I'm lying. We have not done SoFi today. You know what? Let's do SoFi real quick. Christoph Lulu. We're gonna check Lulu right after this. So far as planned, I can see, give or take, right? Give or take, so far as expected. No uptrend, more downtrend, give or take. Like I said, that's a give or take. More bearish. So 15, as we've mentioned before, probably the bottom of this channel that is, let's call it what? The 13, 14 range, 13, higher 13s, 14s. Yeah, 1342 maybe, even based upon how bearish this is on the daily structure. And now looking further deeper. Yes, that's absolutely what's gonna take place. You're far more bearish than bullish right here on SoFi. You're lucky if you're gonna squeeze a bit of that wedgie right here. Do this sort of thingy, and yeah. So that's your 1625 appears to be your top. And yeah, no data, no data. No wonder. No data, no wonder. For, well, it's second cycle pretty much. So yeah. You're going to be going down. And if you're really unlucky or within the shorter range, you're going to find yourself at like 893 back to those levels that I've mentioned before, breaking down subsequently with a market correction to about $3. I mean, it's good. It's no longer $2. You actually moved up, in the food chain, if you will. Black Mamba, sorry, we can't. I have a student. I'm already running late already. No, boys and girls, stop it. I'm sorry, Mamba. You should have showed up earlier. I'm so sorry. Palantir we're already done as well. We're already done these, boys and girls. You have to look back. Lulu is the last one we look at, and we have to finalize with this. I have a student one-on-one session that is waiting for me. Rewind for Palantir. Absolutely. You'll have to just look back and rewatch. And you'll be doing me a huge favor by rewatching, by the way. So, ExxonMobil we just covered, by the way, recently as well. So I think you can find the live. Nothing really changed with energy. ExxonMobil should be doing well. Not as well as oil, not straightforward, but it should be doing well, similar to energy. So on the weekly, it appears to be a lot more bullish, but then again, it's a bearish channel on the largest grand scheme of things. So it's, first of all, it probably has already established your high, which is, you could be on a really good day, if you're not going to break too quickly, actually end up retesting the higher end of that gap, which is 473, but that is extremely unlikely. It appears to be that the market already established that, at least for a little bit, you're going to be doing that wedgie thing, at least for a little bit. So it appears the market, that's what the market wants to do. You have all the material for it to be done. Up and down momentum on all fronts. In fact, it's very confusing, so it's not going to be surprising if it's going to be retesting that sort of wedgie area. But it actually is a lot more bullish than bearish, in that sense that you already almost finalized your channel to the downside, probably going to get retested that maybe another one more time, so up, down, but then you have actually potential of upside. So Lululemon in the long run, again, out of the recession, actually might be looking good, but you are still going into recession with it. So, and yeah, just get ready for lots of pain before it ever gets nice. So you're really, really high. Like, if anything, I would be looking to get in on this at half a price, about 200 to, well, maybe 190-ish, kinda. So you have quite a way to go. Quite a way to go with Lululemon. Quite a way to go. What was that? That was, of course, perfect. Is that what I want? No, that's not what I want. It's definitely this what I want. This is what I want, what I really, really want. Okay. And so these are majors, but don't forget, not ignore the channel. Okay? Okay. So 38232, 317, 301. These are your main ranges that you're going to be retesting. There's one in between here that's going to meet with the SMA, and eventually that. They could be doing this first and only then this. Doing a bit of a wedge right there, maybe even this wedge. We'll see. Whatever the market will prefer to do in that sense. The larger one is far more likely, given that it's going to retest that golden pocket. So that scenario is the more likely one, if anything. Kind of, I mean, sorry, to be more. Which can then mislead people to think that's the wedge, right? Then to break into the smaller one, like that. How many? Not enough. Not enough. That's. This is completely hypothetical. The other end of it, like this, although this is hypothetical as well, but this is like really hypothetical. Just kind of, Alrighty, boys and girls, I am so sorry. I apologize. I have to run. I have a one-on-one session that I'm already 16 minutes late. I would not even have enough time to run to the bathroom after this session. Boys and girls, you know I'm doing this because I want to do this. I would love to continue and sit and, check out tickers throughout all day. By the way, my members on Discord, don't forget to sign up. Eventually, you will lose your roles, boys and girls. You will need to be Patreon members as well. Those who are not yet Patreon members, come on, guys. It's only $8.50 a month for us all to be able to hang out and build a community. And there's plenty of good, valuable information that you can gain there on a daily basis. You know that. Join in. And that is that. That is the link. I put it in the chat or right here on the screen in the big thingy. The way it looks is where is that? In the way it looks almost something like this. And I make all the announcements about the Hangouts, although I know it's missing the information. This is about the one-on-one academy, by the way. Now it's discounted. 20% off, boys and girls, don't miss out. End of the month, whether I got the 4 students or not, it's going to be going back to 2,500. Right now, it's 20% off. One-on-one sessions on which I actually teach you how to do proper technical analysis. You can ask my students here whether it's a valuable resource or not. Of course, the main chat, but the most important thing really you should know about is the open forum. This is the channel I now jumped in. You all can jump in throughout the day and we hang out and talk, and we analyze the charts together and I show you what I see. It's basically like the live, but you get to talk to me and it's far more interactive rather than this sort of thing that we're doing right now. We get to post about the breaking news and everything that's going on all over the world and in all sorts of sectors. We get to talk about these things, anything and everything from, tabloids to finance to whatever, right, to memes and many more cool channels to come. And this section is now under construction still. I'm so sorry it's taking so long. It's still under construction for my academy students. It's going to contain notes from the academy, so you guys will be able to have some reference and material to make it easier on yourselves. Must watch, where I post all sorts of good, valuable videos I find and I think are tremendously important to watch. And all sorts of cool things that I can't really show you. Join in and hang out with us. Hi, Alan. Good to see you. Yeah. So I need to jump off. But boys and girls, join us on that amazing Discord through Patreon, signing up on Patreon, and that will allow you access to that beautiful Discord. That's all, boys and girls. I need to run to my session. Love you all. You all have a wonderful rest of the week. Now we'll see you on the next one or on the Discord. Bye for now, boys and girls. Bye bye.